Bulls announced that Whitehead broke his foot in practice yesterday and will be out for an extended period of time. The Carolina Panthers have signed veteran linebacker Thomas Davis to an extension through 2018, and Ian Rappaport of NFL Media reports the Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman had surgery today to repair a torn ankle ligament and is expected to be out 8 to 10 weeks. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Your shot at a trip to our iHeart Radio Music Festival now. Text the keyword FLY to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeart Radio info. Standard data and message rates apply. That's FLY to 200-200.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set! Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Columbia. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle. 316 Greystone Boulevard. Fast-paced, action-packed, hurry up, no huddle. Sports Talk programming for you. Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands. Heard around the world on the iHeart Radio app and ClemsonSportsTalk.com and podcasted for you. And available on YouTube post-show if you want to just look back at the most handsome man in sports talk radio, certainly in the Midlands, perhaps around the world, obviously in the room, Lowell the intern. He sits across from me. Lowell no longer the intern. Lowell the producer slash interviewee slash microphone coordinator. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. This is when things went wrong several years ago for you, Lowell the intern. I'll pass the mic to you briefly here before you wreck the mic like you did last time. He is Lowell the intern, formerly known as. I don't even know what to call you anymore. Welcome in, Lowell.
Bada boom, realest champs in the room. How you doing?
There's nothing more entertaining than I wish we used to have the camera feed on you. But what happened was when you weren't here, the ratings with female viewers ages 23 to 35 dipped so significantly, we just decided to take you off the show completely to make sure that those numbers didn't fluctuate so much because you're bringing in, the ladies are watching you, Lowell. And today they would enjoy a moderately shaven in the past couple of days, rocking the famously fresh Crab Shack t-shirt, famous Jameis Crab Shack, all that. Here's the thing, okay, Lowell, and I'm going to be honest about this. I wish I had a camera on you anytime you start chili dipping around with that microphone over there. Let me explain something. When you are not here, I am over there. I never have an issue with that microphone.
I didn't have an issue. It's fixed. It's done. It's over with. I'm done messing with it. Fixed it. Just like everything I touch is perfection.
There's that. 803-978-1832. If you want to be a part of the program, we'd love to have you again. The expansion of Clemson Sports Talk, taking our brand not only on the airwaves, but also online in the coming weeks. You can't wait. You don't want to miss it. Get on board. Be a part of our inaugural Ring of Honor. Let me explain what this is for people that don't know. We are launching a brand new website. In conjunction with that, some startup costs. We've had many people that support us for many, many years. And recently, we've had several people come on board as what we label Ring of Honor subscribers, including Lisa, including The Real Peasant, and Clemson Craig. And because of those folks coming on as Ring of Honor members of our site, when we launch on our new website, they're going to have that Ring of Honor logo. In perpetuity, or whatever the word is I'm looking for here, forever. So as long as they're going to be in the Ring of Honor. You've got a chance to do that too. We've got a lot of people who maybe say, well, Swanee, I can't support you at that level. And I respect that. That's why there are other levels. You could also just do a month. at that level. All we're trying to do is offset some of the initial startup costs and get the ball rolling on the website. We're excited about it. We can't wait for you to see the forums. Can't wait for you to see the conversations that will be going on there, all the news, notes, information, tidbits, everything on the brand new ClemsonSportsTalk.com, which is set to launch in just a couple of weeks. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away too much of the timeline, but I'm telling you, you're going to like it. We'd love to have your support. Head over to our current website, click Support Us to learn more, or over on Twitter or Facebook at Clemson Sports, or on Facebook at Clemson Sports Talk. He is Lowell, the artist formerly known as The Intern, hanging out with us here today. He'll be manning the phone lines. We've got a couple of great guests lined up to be a part of tonight's show. And the one that I am excited, well, I say excited about. I'm excited about both of these individuals. But first, the voice of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and Lowell the Intern, I know this about you. You like anytime we get somebody on that's called The Voice, because deep down in your core, can we safely admit that you have aspirations of one day being the voice of the show that shakes the Southland? Is that fair to say?
I'm going to be the voice of everything Clemson, not just the show that shakes the Southland.
Well, I'm going to be the voice of reason and tell you I think you're wrong. But Stan Cotton from Wake Forest going to join us. Lowell the Intern all over that one. Also in hour number 2, we'll talk with Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com about the Texas A&M Aggies, who South Carolina will play in the 5th game of the season on the road in College Station. So that's the rundown today. Just a simple 2-a-day right now. Of course, the Clemson Tigers getting set to come off of the practice field in about 35 minutes or so. Our Zach Lentz will be on the scene on Twitter. He's at Zach Lentz, CST. But we begin tonight's show with Dabo Swinney and Coach Swinney's response to the comments that were made. And actually, these comments weren't made last week by Josh Rosen. They were actually made a while back, but just released last week. And, of course, Josh Rosen, that's tough to say. Josh Rosen got into a conversation about the fact that the academics and the athletic side of sports and how difficult it would be. And Rosen told the Bleacher Report that playing major college football and going to school was like having 2 full-time jobs. Dabo Swinney today, right here on Fox Sports Radio in the Midlands on the Rich Eisen Show, saying the following: if someone thinks it's too much to do both, that's certainly an opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion. When people don't value the college experience, you don't have to do it. I don't know. It's an interesting topic for sure. I know this. There's incredible value in a young person earning their degree and the work ethic, discipline, and sacrifice you have to be a student athlete. It's really, really tough, but I know this. Pretty much anything great in life is really tough. The words of Dabo Swinney commenting to Rich Eisen right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands. Of course, you could hear that you could have heard that on the iHeart radio application, again in response to Josh Rosen, UCLA quarterback's comments yesterday. Last week, which he had mentioned, I believe, in an interview earlier this summer. Rosen also said, I'm not knocking what those guys accomplished. They should be applauded for that, but some schools are easier than others, referencing Deshaun Watson and Artavis Scott graduating in 3 years. Now, the thing that I think you can immediately take away from what Dabo Swinney said is the fact that, this is a coach who gets it. This is a coach who's been a player. He's been a walk-on. This is a coach who's, I could make the argument, and there are a lot of coaches like this, but it's really fought for the role he is in. Dabo Swinney was not a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. I'm sure Dabo Swinney wasn't the first guy picked at practice every day for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And you don't get to where Dabo Swinney is without really being willing to hustle, without being willing to work hard. And Coach Swinney's done a great job in doing that. And because of that fact, I don't think Coach Swinney, and I don't think there's a lot of you out there that feel sorry for college football players. believe you me, college football players are not the only individuals on that campus working, quote, 2 jobs. There are students who are working to pay their way to go to college. There are students that are working so that they'll have enough money to eat, where college football players basically have unlimited resources, basically have unlimited rights to food, access to the football operations complex, everything you could want. Pool tables, video games, laser tag, basketball, volleyball. I mean, you nap room, you name it. These football players had it. I had a nap room in college. It was called the dorm. It was not always fun to nap in the dorm. It was called Johnstone F3. 327, by the way, if you're keeping score at home. Also did a little time in F119 during my 3 years there in the hashtag 10 cans. But Dabo Swinney doesn't seem to think that Rosen's argument, in my opinion, holds a lot of water. Dabo Swinney certainly says he values everybody's opinion. But again, he says work ethic, discipline, and sacrifice. Those are the things you have to get your degree. And to do that in 3 years is no easy task. I did it in 7. I went to school more than twice as long as Deshaun Watson and Artavis Scott. And the further most of you get away from your college career, if you're just getting out of college, maybe you're even just starting your first job out of college, you will recognize the genius in my 7 years of undergrad. You will recognize the brilliance that sits before you and speaks here into this microphone tonight that I did 7 years of undergrad strategically. This was not Swanee struggles. Swanee has some, doesn't quite pick up things as quickly as other people. No, Swanee picked it up very quickly. And he also picked up the fact that the working world was a place he wasn't all that interested in getting to very rapidly. Let's just do the college thing. Let's live this life. What? Another basketball season? Oh, terrible. What? I got to go watch more football at Death Valley. What a bummer. Oh, you mean basketball at Fike is something I could do? Nights out at TD's? Yeah. Karaoke? Sure. Dance parties at overtime? All about it. A little time on the video game? Yeah. Could you get a side job working at the movies? I did. But in terms of where Josh Rosen thinks Clemson is as far as an academic institution, would be a bit beyond me. Now, he did take a shot at Alabama the other day in the same conversation as well, talking about what kind of football team would Alabama have if the standards were raised. Again, I don't know. They might still have the best football team. They might just have a smarter version of that great football team if the standards were raised at Alabama. But Rosen, my man, here's the deal about Clemson right now. Dabo Swinney, in his 9th year at Clemson, graduates players. Absolutely graduates players. Clemson also, with the academic progress rate, one of the best in the country. There are 2 schools that end up in the upper quadrant every single year of the Wall Street Journal's report on academic success and success on the gridiron. It's Clemson and Stanford. And it's not even close. So you look at the situation that Clemson has, including last season where there were 100-plus juniors who entered the draft, and only 8 of them had degrees. 4 of those were from Clemson. Half of the draft-eligible juniors that turned pro who had graduated already were from Clemson University. This is not a newfangled thing that Dabo Swinney's just figured out how to do. This is not something that Clemson is ashamed of in any way, that players are able to graduate in 3 years and get out of school. This is something they've championed. This is about the Paul journey. This is about making these athletes focus on things bigger than just the gridiron. And for Coach Swinney today to give his thoughts on the Rich Eisen show right here on Fox Sports Radio, in the way he put it, I thought he hit the nail on the head. I thought he knocked it out of the park. and to point out that there are many other individuals who are in college who are earning their degrees and working at the same time validates so many of you who did the same thing, and you didn't have the fortune of, again, free food, of free clothing, the tutors, everything that comes along with being an athlete, an ability to basically handpick your schedule. I'm fighting to get in that 10-10 economics class with that great teacher. I'm doing everything I can, because if you don't think that half of the battle in learning is the teacher-student or the teacher-pupil relationship, you're wrong. Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you can make it interesting for them, if you can make it engaging, they're all the better for it. College football players have the chance to pick their courses at will. Freshmen, sophomores, even juniors at many institutions are fighting for the scraps to try to find a great professor with a great class time. I don't necessarily disagree or dislike or feel like Josh Rosen is out of his lane, to quote a famous unmentionable father who can't shoot three-pointers here on this program. But I will say I do appreciate that not only does Dabo Swinney recognize and understand how valuable the college education and the college experience is to these Clemson Tiger football players, but the fact that it is not lost on him, and I think this is because of where he comes from as a former walk-on, that there are plenty of college kids around the country, quote, working two jobs, one in which is on campus in the classroom, the other which is outside the classroom at the local grocery store or convenience store. Lowell the intern, as a former college student and a job-seeking former student, your thoughts briefly here on what Coach Swinney had to say.
I really thought, not to kind of ride the fence, but I agreed with some things Josh Rosen said, and I agreed with some things Dabo Swinney said. There are some subjects in school that are easier paths to take to graduate early. Not saying Deshaun Watson and Mike Williams and Artavis Scott took those paths, and not to downplay them graduating in 3 years, because like you said, it took you 7, it took me 5 to graduate from college.
We didn't play sports. Do we need to put that on the record?
Yeah, we did not play any college sports.
We did not play major college sports.
So there are some schools and colleges that are harder, but at the same time, yeah, it's a grind to be a college athlete, and they know that coming into it, and if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it.
If I had to say something that disappoints me probably most, if we wanted to get into the situation with colleges, is that there is not a across-the-board standardized what's the word I'm looking for? A standardized entrance level for these athletes. Certain conferences have raised their standards, so it's not an even playing field on that front. I know we've got Speedy on the line. I don't think we're going to have time to get to Speedy, and we got a guest coming up, so we may have to roll him over just a little bit here to another segment later in the program. Hadn't heard from Speedy in a while, but when we get back here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight, we'll talk a little Wake Forest Demon Deacon football. That's right, hard to believe it, but the college football season will be here before you know it. Stay with us here for Stan Cotton on the show that shakes the Southland.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
The iHeart Radio Music Festival.
Taco Bell's new $1 beefy potato Rito is the perfect comfort food. Crispy potatoes stacked with seasoned beef and melty cheddar cheese. It's all the comfort you need for just $1. Only at Taco Bell.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
You've done the research, Jonathan, and decided on a Honda.
And you waited for just the right time to buy, Gary, and now it's here.
The Honda Summerbration Sales Event
at Honda of Columbia.
We're clearing out every 2017 Honda in stock at the lowest prices of the entire year and giving you a hassle-free buying experience.
Don't wait. The Honda Summerbration Sales Event is the time to buy at Honda of Columbia, your friendly family Honda dealer since 1978.
Highway 378 at I-20 and HondaofColumbia.com. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the 2016 College Football National Champion, Clemson Tigers.
Weeknights, 6 to 8 p.m., Fox Sports Radio, iHeart Radio Live on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, the new website coming soon. Joining us now, though, to talk a little bit of college football and the Demon Deacons. Of course, it's Stan Cotton, the voice of the Deeks. Stan, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you tonight? Doing well.
Man, doing great. And I tell you what, every day I feel like I'm doing a little bit better because the college football season is one day closer, but for somebody in your role, I do not envy the task of getting prepared on a weekly basis for the game day operations, of knowing the ins and the outs of the opponents. Before we talk Wake Forest, I just want to hear from you. What is that grind like when you're getting ready for these games?
Well, I don't know if it's a grind. I think it's probably like anything else. Once you've done it a while, which I have done, you kind of get used to it. You get into your own routines, and you figure out a way to not make yourself go crazy. And as the season goes along, I think that process gets a little bit easier because I like to try and record as many of Wake's opponents as I can throughout the season. So once I get past 3-4 weeks, then I've got several games to watch. In other words, when Wake's getting ready to play Clemson, I'll watch the Tigers 2 or 3, 4 times if I can, so that when I sit down and broadcast the game, it's not the first time I've seen Clemson's personnel with my charts in front of me, things like that. So it's not exactly, digging ditches to watch ball games and read about players and read about coaches and all those types of things. I consider myself very, very fortunate to have the job that I do and get paid to do what I do. And I'm kind of like you, though. Right now, as each day goes by, I get my appetite just gets bigger and bigger for college football. It's a great time of year. And certainly if you're a Clemson Tiger fan, like the folks who listen to you mostly, they just get hungrier every year. It's a great time of the season for sure.
Now I'm going to nerd out a little bit here. Do you have a certain format that you draw this thing up? I've seen Tim Brando's work. I mean, do you do something fancy with your sheet that you call these games with?
Well, I've got charts. I've been doing this a long time. I'm 56 years old, and I've been calling college football since I was 19. So the charts that I have are fairly similar to the ones that I started with.
Yeah.
Wow, almost 40 years ago. But I do most of it on computer now, and then add a lot of personal notes about players, things like that by hand, different colors of ink and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much when I sit down to do a game, I've got a chart on Wake and a chart on its opponent, and that's pretty much it. I don't have a ton of other paperwork around me to confuse me. But it's each of us who does this for a living has his own system, whatever works to get me the info I need as quickly as I can get it. And that process has already begun for me, already making my charge for Wake and Presbyterian as we speak.
Stan Cotton here on Clemson Sports Talk, talking about the Demon Deacons. You look at Dave Clawson last season, they go 7-6. An opening part of the schedule, though, that to me looks like it could be a decent start for the Demon Deacons this year as well, heading into back-to-back games against Florida State and Clemson. That won't be a lot of fun, but nonetheless, anytime you can get a little positive momentum out of the gate, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, and, Wake's got to be creative in its scheduling, I think, from this point on, and I think Coach Clawson will do that. He's not going to back away from a challenge. But, the ACC, for all the ACC teams for that matter, that grind is hard enough. And so I think when you put your non-conference schedule together, although a lot of that anyway is done years and years ahead of time, in advance. And so you might schedule Team A to play 5 years down the road, and they may not be very good right now, but when you face them in 5 years, they're one of the best teams in their conference or whatever. But the Digs have a first few games, one of those a conference game, an early game with Boston College, albeit on the road. But I think Wake should be able to go 3-1, maybe even 4-0 if the ball bounces Wake's way a couple of times in those first 4 games. But again, it's maybe easy to say that they're all on paper right now, and depending on how the rest of Wake's camp goes, injuries, all those types of things, you just never know. But the Digs have a pretty hard schedule. Boy, in the league, it really gets tough. You mentioned playing Clemson on the road, and you got to just, week in and week out, face some of the better teams in the country when you're in this league. And, that's the deal you sign up for, right? I mean, that going in. So none of that should be a surprise really to anybody.
When you look at the Demon Deacons coming into the season off of the heels of that 7-6 campaign, where is the pulse of this fan base? I mean, where are the expectations, maybe that's a better term, for the fan base heading in?
Yeah, I think, and Coach Clawson kind of leads the charge in that, really. I mean, he, 7-6 last year, went to a bowl game, won the bowl game. That was all good. Yeah. And, what he doesn't want Wake to become is, satisfied with winning 6 games a year and getting to a bowl game. So, that's great. We love going to bowl games, but we want to go to bowl games every year. We don't want to just win 6 or 7 games. We want to win 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. We want to have the kind of program that expects to do that. Quite honestly, I'm not sure that the Wake fan base right now is expecting 9 wins a season. I think the Deacon fans are pretty good football fans. I think they understand where Wake kind of sits in the pecking order in the league right now, and I think they really have a lot of confidence in Dave Clawson to get Wake past that 6-7 wins a year. And again, part of that's got to come with good non-conference scheduling. You got to maintain your recruiting. The Deacs have done really, really well in that regard under Dave Clawson. Wake's building a lot of buildings right now. You got to keep up with the Joneses. Clemson is Clemson, right? And Clemson wins national championships, and Clemson's building. So, if Clemson's got to do it, Wake and the others behind Clemson, they've got to do those types of things as well. And Wake Forest is doing that. So there's a commitment at Wake by Ron Wellman, the athletic director, and the rest of the administration of having a solid football program, one that hopefully can compete for championships on a consistent basis. And, we'll see how that all shakes out. But that's certainly where Dave Clawson wants his program to be.
Stan Cotton here on the show that shakes the Southland. He's the voice of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And Stan, as I look at the offense last year, much improved in the 2016 season versus what we saw in 2015 from Wake Forest. What does this team have to do? They've got, I believe, 9 returning starters offensively. What do they have to do specifically, in your opinion, in order to either, A, maintain where they were last year, Or is there, a chance for some marked improvement in 2017 as well?
Well, I hope there can be some improvement. Wake was really strapped a year ago, even though there was some offensive improvement. They had injury at quarterback. They weren't very deep at running back. And I think when you look at Wake's fall camp right now, you see Wake full of quarterbacks, full of running backs right now. They can really play. I mean, you go 2, 3, 4 deep at the running back spot. And I think even though a couple of those kids are youngsters, the Deacons feel really, really good about their depth there. Right now, the Deeks have 2 quarterbacks who both started, Kendall Hinton and John Wolford. Wolford playing most of the snaps a year ago when Kendall Hinton, after he was named starter, got injured and pretty much was lost for the year. So right now there's a battle going on right there at quarterback, and regardless of which of those players wins the job, the backup's going to be a guy that they feel really, really good about. And then there's a big, tall, strong redshirt freshman from here in North Carolina sitting in the number 3 spot they feel really, really good about. There's also depth at wide receiver. Somebody's got to come in there and give Tabari Hines, one of the wide receivers, and Cam Serenade, a great tight end who wasn't himself a year ago because of injury. And Dave Clawson even said today he'd be very disappointed if Cam Serenade, that tight end I'm talking about, if he stays healthy, if he's not a first-team ACC pick. So if Wake can stay
Stan,
healthy,
let me cut you off 1 second. We got to hit a quick break. We'll come back with Stan Cotton right after this.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Attention, anyone who's suffering from lower back pain. Right now, HealthSource is offering our listeners an absolutely free back pain consultation on a first-come, first-served basis by calling 803-218-9047. Our doctors can find the root cause of your lower back pain and show you how to get well fast and stay well longer. No more pain. No more feeling worn out. Essentially, no more not feeling like yourself. Call 803-218-9047.
From Two Men and a Truck, movers who care. Tonight will be very warm. The temperatures will dip down only to the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, sunny, hot, and sticky with some scattered late storms. Highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by the South Carolina Education Lottery. Summer in South Carolina means it's especially hot outside, so stay cool inside and play the $5 South Carolina Education Lottery Instant Ticket Red Hot Cash for a chance to win up to $125,000. Overall odds 1 in 3.77. Top prize odds 1 in 480,000.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
Absolutely love when we get a chance to talk about the Demon Deacons here on Clemson Sports Talk as we head towards the college football season again. October the 7th, they'll play in Death Valley against your Clemson Tigers. Lowell, I'm going to tell you something. If I wasn't a Clemson graduate, I think I'd be a Deke guy. If Clemson didn't exist, I think I'd pull for the Demon Deacons. Something about the uniform, my dad's a Wofford guy. Maybe that's it. It kind of looks like Wofford and reminds me of that. But we've got Stan Cotton. He's the voice of the Demon Deacons joining us here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight. Stan, I know we were talking about the offense when we hit that break, but on the defensive side of the ball, a little change of pace. Mike Elko, the former defensive coordinator, he moves on and heads up to Notre Dame. And now you guys got Jay, is it Salvell, I believe is his name? What's the expectations on the defensive side of the ball with a new defensive coordinator in town?
Well, just more of the same. Coach Salvell's a very well-respected coach. Coach Clawson wouldn't have hired him. I mean, Dave is a detailed guy, and he wouldn't have hired Coach if he didn't think that he could just kind of pick up where Coach Elko left off a year ago. And what he won't have is a linebacker by the name of Markel Lee, and he was kind of the bell cow of that defensive unit a year ago that really kind of, led the charge for this Wake Forest team and kept them in a lot of games. So, but that's the deal every year, right? With Clemson and Wake and everybody else. I mean, you lose good players, and it's time for other players to step up. And I'm sure Wake will do that. They've got a safety back, Jesse Bates, who's just a terrific player, one of the better safeties in the ACC. And so, I just think it'll be more the same from a year ago. But you've got to find players to fill in some of the spots where graduating players, left a void. So I think it's going to be a pretty balanced Wake team. Kicking game should be very solid. And, I just think, Wake is going to be a pretty good football team, although I'm not saying that the record's going to be as good as it was a year ago. I hope it is. I think it possibly could be. But, Wake's schedule is so tough.
Yeah.
That you just never know. So the Deeks, like everybody else, will have to have the ball bounce their way some, but I think the Deeks will be pretty good if they can just stay out of it. We were talking before the break, especially on offense, if they can just stay away from some of those injuries, and I think they'll be okay. Their depth is pretty good, but injuries kill everybody.
Stan Cotton here on Clemson Sports Talk. He mentioned the schedule. If you haven't seen Wake Forest's schedule, I mentioned they play Florida State and Clemson back-to-back. They host Florida State, then on the road to Clemson, a bye week, then at Georgia Tech, Louisville, and at Notre Dame. And that Notre Dame game is going to be an interesting one because Mike Elko, former defensive coordinator that we just talked about at Wake Forest, is up there. You've been around the game a long time. How big of an advantage might that be for Notre Dame simply by having the former defensive coordinator when it comes down to the X's and O's? Again, that's in November, but still, I mean, is that something that you have to take into account?
Oh, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I think in a game like that, Notre Dame will be focused on really doing what Notre Dame does and doing it well, and the same for Wake. Wake's not going to go in there and run exactly the same stuff that it did a year ago when Coach Elko was around and knew exactly what's going on.
Sure.
So, it's just going to come down like most games do, really. I mean, you can scheme all you want. I remember the late Coach Prosser in basketball at Wake Forest said the team with the most NBA players usually wins. So, Coach Prosser was usually right on with those types of things. And, the team with the better players on the field more times than not is going to win. And that's why, I think it's just so critical for Wake. Wake's got really good players. It really does. They got to stay healthy, though. Once you get past some of those frontline players and some of the depth, although it's there, it's just not experienced really, and there's not a depth that's been under the fire a lot. And when you're playing on the road at a place like Notre Dame or Clemson, other places, Wake has to go to Georgia Tech this year. That's never an easy thing. So it sometimes that lack of depth or lack of experience really stands out. So we'll see. It's always fun going to Notre Dame, places like that with a lot of history. And Coach Elko's a great coach, and I'm sure he'll have the Irish all psyched for his old team, the Deeks.
Well, Stan, we appreciate your time here on Clemson Sports Talk, and I'll try to stop by the radio booth on the 7th when you're up in Clemson and just introduce myself to you. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, we appreciate it. You guys do a great job, and hope you guys have a great year.
There he is, Stan Cotton, the voice of the Demon Deacons here on Clemson Sports Talk with the inside look at Wake Forest. Glad we got the chance to roll him over. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do that, and I always hate when we're kind of backed against the wall in terms of the the time crunch, but he's a guy that's in radio, and he does a fantastic job for the Demon Deacon faithful. And, again, they open their season August the 31st. They'll host Presbyterian on a Thursday. So they got a game in August kicking things off for all you college football fans out there. Again, the Blue Hose taking on Wake Forest August the 31st. That's a Thursday up in Winston-Salem. And then I mentioned, Lowell, I think they have a chance to have a pretty good start to the season. They've got Presbyterian. They go on the road to Boston College. They take on Utah State. That's homecoming, a little early in the year for the Demon Deacons. And then they go to App State. So, again, App State, no pushover. Utah State, Boston College, winnable games, and that Presbyterian game as well. And this is a chance as a team that's 4-0 heading into that stretch of Florida State, at Clemson, at Georgia Tech, Louisville, and at Notre Dame. It's conceivable they could start 4-0 and be 4-5 heading into that Syracuse game on November the 11th.
Well, I was going to say they probably start 4-0 and end up 6-6.
Well, and that may very well be the case. They've got a real chance, though, to be bowl eligible again. And as Stan said, Dave Clawson is not somebody that's satisfied with just status quo and being 7-6, and I like that. I really like him. I think he's a good head coach. I had a chance to hear him speak at the ACC kickoff. I think it's encouraging if you're a Wake Forest Demon Deacon fan to know that this is a school that's trying to invest more in the facilities and trying to do better. And again, in the Atlantic Coast Conference right now, especially in the Atlantic Division, it's like the SEC West. I don't know another way to put it. And I know everybody's going to say, well, Swanee, the SEC East has some good teams too. Yeah, I know. But it's not the West. And right now, for the Wake Forest of the world, right now, it is for the Boston Colleges of the world, the Atlantic Division in the ACC is this incredible hurdle because you've got Clemson, Florida State, and Louisville not just at or near the top of your division, they're at or near the top in college football. And so you're already kind of starting behind the 8 ball because even if you have a good season, it might include 3 losses. A great year, maybe the best year. You go get I don't know. I guess they would consider themselves what? Are they gold Kool-Aid drinking? What is their official color? Is it gold? I guess. Is that what you would say, Lowell?
Black and gold?
But I think they're. It's not like I don't know what colors they are, but is that the official gold? So would they be gold Kool-Aid drinking? Black and gold Kool-Aid drinkers? Even the most eternal optimistic Wake Forest Demon Deacon fan, I don't know how they look at that schedule and think there's anything better than 9-3. Anything better. I think the most optimistic Wake Forest fans going, well, we're going to lose to Florida State, Clemson, and Louisville. And there are some optimistic fans that probably don't believe you could win at Notre Dame either. You got to remember, though, Notre Dame was a train wreck in 2016. And by the time you get to them in November, if they've stumped their toe several times and Brian Kelly seems like he's out the door, it could be a repeat. That might be a winnable game come November. That might not be a winnable game if it were played in September 3rd, for example. But in November, the Irish may have bailed it in.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Let's go! Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Vegas! Introducing new M&M's brand caramel candies. Or is it caramel? No matter how you say it, they're delicious. Unsquare caramel or caramel with new M&M's brand caramel candies today.
Time's running out. It's just about here. If you cater to the bridal market and want to get in front of hundreds of new clients in just one afternoon, you need to be at our next bridal show. Network with other wedding pros, and most importantly, book business. 104.7 WNOK's Fall Bridal Showcase coming up September 17th at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. Presented by Southern Wade Catering, Carolina Bride Magazine, American Floral, and Columbia Bridal Associates. Reserve your space now at bridecityshows.com. Don't wait, that's bridecityshows.com.
Your pet deserves high-quality health care. Your pet deserves the friendly, professional doctors and courteous staff at Midland's Veterinary Practice. We treat you and your pet like family by listening carefully to your concerns and addressing your pet's long-term healthcare needs. With the use of our latest state-of-the-art technology, like a therapeutic laser, we offer alternatives to drug therapy. At Midland's Veterinary Practice, we care for the most valuable pets, yours. Visit us at MidlandsVet.com on Facebook or Twitter, or contact us at 750-7387, 750-PETS.
ColumbiaHelpWanted.com salutes the employee of the month, the one employee you can't live without. The others, let's just call them Dave.
Dave, why have you been shredding for hours?
The boss said we should cut costs, Mr. Employee of the Month.
How does this cut costs?
These are the expense reports for the whole year.
You shredded them all?
Thanks to me, our expenses this year are zero.
If you don't mind hiring Daves, go to the national job boards. They may be free, but trust us, they'll cost you. We make it easy to post a job, and it's local, so you won't get spammed by faraway job seekers. ColumbiaHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work. ColumbiaHelpWanted.com salutes the employee of the month, the one employee you can't live without. The others, let's just call them Dave.
Dave, are you stealing from the vending machine?
No, Mr. Employee of the Month.
Well, your desk is littered with like hundreds of snacks.
I merely exposed a loophole by reaching my arm through the flap thingy. Does that sound like stealing to you?
Yes.
Granola bar?
If you don't mind hiring Daves, go to the national job boards. They may be free, but trust us, they'll cost you. We make it easy to post a job, and it's local, so you won't get spammed by faraway job seekers. ColumbiaHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
Cottingham Family Dentistry is proud to announce the opening of their new office located at 3722 Devine Street, and they're welcoming new patients. What makes Cottingham Family Dentistry different? It's in the name, family. They will cater to your needs and the dental needs of your children. Cottingham Family Dentistry offers same-day crowns, dental implants, cosmetic dentistry, including whitening, veneers, and tooth-colored fillings, and many other dental services. If you're searching for an amazing dental home, call 776-4234 or stop by their new office at 3722 Devine Street and become a part of the family at Cottingham Family Dentistry.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the Clemson Tigers, winners of the 2017 National Championship game.
A record of the delightful piece they're going to play this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, 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 your attention, please, attention, please, attention, please.
And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
Something to tell you.
Clemson Sports Talk. All Clemson all the time. A little Gamecock mixed in here or there. Lowell the intern. We talked a little Wake Forest there with Stan Cotton. Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com joining us in hour number 2. Lowell's like, Swanee, why didn't you ask him about WikiLeaks? Lowell, you always want to stir some controversy. Why can't you just eat your chicken wings?
I want to know what old Tommy Elrod was doing these days. That's all.
Eat your roll or whatever you had over there during the. Yeah, Lowell, I'm surprised you don't book more guests for me when there's food in the building, so that you could just sit over there and eat. Like I saw you the one time when you thought I was going to pass it to you for a second, and you're like trying to scarf down that chicken wing. I was like,
but there's never fruit in here, so
Lowell can't eat that fast enough. I almost passed it to you while you had a big old bite of it.
I would have talked too. I would have talked. It wouldn't have been great for the program, but the show must go on.
Well, yeah, that was the first time I let you kind of sit in and host this thing by yourself when I ran the board for you, and you looked at me like a lost pup. You seen those commercials where the ASPCA is trying to save those dogs? They're like running the commercials they're in the pen.
I should have just let it tank. You would have had to jump in eventually.
Listen, I don't think you finishing that show actually saved it, let's just say. But I will say this. Okay. I will say this. When I held up the side, or when I said, no, I'm not pushing my mic button, and you got through it, man. You got through it like a champ. Do you remember that? I wish do we have the audio of that show somewhere? Do you have that archive?
Probably. The only thing, it's probably somewhere. The only thing I remember is going to the phone lines and kind of setting my headset down in frustration.
Oh, that was so awesome. So why don't you tell that story, Lowell? You take the wheel. I'm just with you. Give me the story. You're the host. I'm just the trusty intern.
Well, the first segment, that first 20-minute segment is a lot longer than you would think it is when you're trying to do it by yourself.
You thought you had plenty.
Thought I had plenty. I ended up having to use more topics than I wanted to in that first segment. So we get to the next segment. I'm on to the next topic. I finish up that topic, and then I realize, kind of, sort of running out of things here to talk about.
I'm blowing through this hour.
I'm blowing through all my material, and so there was probably, you know how we've talked about how 10 seconds of dead air is an eternity on radio.
Yeah.
It was probably more like 20, so it was like eternity times 2, and I was just kind of stuck. It just kind of happened, and I didn't really know what to say. And so you're sitting here in front of me with your mocking eyes, and so I was kind of looking for some emotional support in a time of distress, and found none from you.
I mouthed to you, I'm not turning my mic on.
You did do that, and got saved by somebody calling in, so I kind of punched it to the phone line and threw my headset down because I was really, really mad at myself. Of course, I threw my headset down and then had to pick it up immediately because there was someone on the phone line. So that was not a great start to my solo radio career.
The fact that your phones were on the ground when the caller was giving their take and you couldn't hear it because you had slammed your headphones to the ground in frustration made it all the better that you couldn't hardly react to what the caller had said because you were too busy. They were complimenting you.
I caught the tail end of it. I caught the tail end of their compliments, and I thanked them for being very nice and supportive when you would not be.
I wanted to say he missed half of what you had to say because he slammed his headphones.
I did miss a lot of what he had to say.
Wow.
You talk about you being a perfectionist. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist myself. I don't like messing up. And so I get frustrated when I mess up. So I got a little frustrated with myself. Got through the rest of the show though. No more hiccups after that one, so that was nice.
There you go, and you made it. I wish we had that. We should run that every year. That should be on the Swanee Awards episode. We should run segments from the time Lowell the intern hosted the show. Now, do we need to go on further and tell people how the rest of that show proceeded to play out? Remember, I was the Chad Morris.
Oh, I thought you did that before the show.
I thought that was the night of that show.
I believe you wrote some stuff down before the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, we had a bunch of plates in studio from a local fast food restaurant.
Still have them in a drawer in my room. Those plates. Yep.
One of them said, "Tell me more about that. Give out the phone number." I was trying to coach you up. I thought you did good. Once we caught our rhythm, you got through that first segment. I thought things went well. That was a fun night for me. Just watching Lowell the intern sweat. Would you agree you sweat the first night on the air as a host?
I did not literally sweat. No.
You did not literally sweat?
Nope. No sweat.
Figuratively.
Maybe. Maybe during that dead period of 20 to 30 seconds on the air. It probably wasn't that long. It probably wasn't 30 seconds. It felt like a long time, though.
803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter, CST Show. He's at Lowell CST. I'm at CST Show as well. You can follow us over there. Again, Hour 2, Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com. We appreciate Stan Cotton, the voice of the Demon Deacons. You know, we do a lot of writers and guys who cover these programs, beat writers. I kind of liked having the voice of these groups on, Lowell. I kind of liked having Stan Cotton. I mean, that's no offense to some of the other guys who do the job, but it was interesting having Stan on again, and that's the second time I think he's been on the program with us, simply because of the fact that there's a different view of the program from Don Munson's seat than there is from, say, Zach Lentz's seat. And that's one of the things that I like about, I think, talking to those guys is they've got a better or a closer relationship with, I think, the coaching staff and the players, and so they may know a little bit more, but they also have to be a little more guarded too. So it's a kind of a give and take relationship, whether you have a beat writer or the voice of these programs on. But I really appreciate it. The other thing, you know they can talk too. If you can call a game a la Tony Castricone, you can get behind the microphone.
I love me some Tony Castricone.
Hour number 2 of the show that shakes the Southland right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Stay with us.
This is Dave, and we're back on Pit Stop Radio. Listen to what our customers say about their pit stop.
I'm an attorney. I've come to Pit Stop every single day this week because I'm from out of town. My son's at a hockey camp next door, and this thing gets horrible gas mileage. All right, so I drink Miller Lite or Coors Light, and 18-pack cans are $13.99. It's a fantastic price, less than $1 each. I do have special talents, but you'll have to talk to the missus about those.
Want convenience without compromise?
Don't stop till you're at Pit Stop.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Lion Shopping Center, 399-7701, or southlakedrug.com.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again. Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Every year, Steve Faircal climbs the stairs at the John Hancock Center in Chicago, 94 floors to the top.
It's called the hustle up the Hancock.
It's hard to believe when you watch Steve today that a few years ago, his lungs were failing and he was fighting to survive.
For 8 hours a day, someone was pounding on my chest to try and keep my lungs clear. I honestly don't think I had more than a couple weeks to live.
That's when Steve received the gift of life, a double lung transplant made possible by an organ donor.
After I got my new lungs, I started doing things that I had never been able to do. I never knew that breathing could feel this good.
Steve climbs to honor his donor and to raise awareness for organ, eye, and tissue donation.
Wouldn't you like that when you left this beautiful planet, that you could save a few lives on your way out? It's an incredible gift.
Imagine what you could make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400. WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports Trending now.
This report presented by TrueCar. With TrueCar, you can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, new or used. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, as expected, has officially appealed his 6-game suspension. Elliott's appeal hearing must now be held within the next 10 business days. Jets receiver Lucky Whitehead can't wait for his unlucky summer to get over with. Released by the Cowboys last month after being erroneously charged with a crime that turned out to be a case of mistaken identity. And today, head coach Todd Bowles announced that Whitehead broke his foot in practice yesterday and will be out for an extended period of time. Ian Rappaport of NFL Media reports that Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman had surgery today to repair a torn ankle ligament and is expected to be out 8 to 10 weeks. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set,
just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's prime time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio live on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. 803-978-1832. The text line brought to you by the Ocean Reef Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086 is the number. Well, in this business, are you done eating over there? How many more wings did you scarf down during the break? You better go hit up that gym. He ate 4 wings during the break, 4 during the last segment. He's making threats that he is going to take the remaining wings here at iHeartMedia home.
Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you're not really hungry, but the food is really good, so you keep eating it?
No, I try not to overeat.
Oh, well, that's kind of where I am right now. So I'm gonna have to go run after the show.
You better run to the gym. But in this business, Lowell, you may not get, but the Ocean Reef Resort text line gets some random messages, occasionally in the wee hours of the morning. Some things come through and end up unsubstantiated and just vicious rumors and stuff like that. Some things come through and actually hit. It's kind of like a tip line. Like you're the police, you get the tip line. You know, you've seen this before. Call us with a tip. If you think you've seen this child on the back of a milk carton, call and give us a tip. You're like, okay. I get these random tips from time to time. And as I said, they're not always right, so we don't run with them. And we're certainly not running with this tip. But I will tell you, the tipster who texted me has been right before on things they have told me. And all I am confident in saying right now is that there is a potential transfer coming from Clemson, according to the tipster. And the tipster has never been wrong. So we'll see. I don't want to mention any names right now. I want to see our Zach Lentz is on the ground in Clemson as we speak. So I'm hopeful that maybe by texting Zach Lentz, we may find a little bit more out about this situation and have more for you here on Clemson Sports Talk. And, of course, down the road, that'll be on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. So, Lowell the intern, that's where we are. I don't want to say who or what. It is a football player, though, that may be potentially transferring. So we do know that. I cannot go into any further details at this time until we get more confirmation from Zach Lentz on the ground there in Tigertown. But the tipster has never been wrong. So I'll give you that. He's batting 1,000 right now. So I'm hard-pressed to say that this is not an accurate statement, but I just don't want to mention any names. So we'll leave you with that little tidbit right now, and we'll try to let you know more as we roll along. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter, CST Show, at Clemson Sports, and at CST Show, also available for you to be a part of the show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com, joins us. We'll talk about the Texas A&M Aggies as they will host the South Carolina Gamecocks 5 games in to the regular season. Earlier tonight, we talked to Stan Cotton from Wake Forest about the Demon Deacons. Of course, the Deacs and the Tigers set to square off in the 6th game of the college football season, the midway point for Clemson. And Lowell, when you think about both of these two teams, Clemson and South Carolina, again, that September is so key to the success of both of these clubs in terms of where their season is going to be. Clemson, if they come out of September at 5-0, they'll be feeling great heading into that Wake Forest game with the realization that, much like many of the national pundits are saying, including Phil Steele, who said today, don't sleep on the Clemson Tigers. If the Tigers come out of September 5-0, heading into that Wake Forest game, look out. Because all of a sudden, these off-season conversations about what this Clemson Tiger team could be, can they get back to the playoff, gets a lot closer to being a reality. That is a distinct possibility for Clemson. And for South Carolina, I think, if they're 4-0 heading into that A&M game, if they navigate their way to 4-0 heading into that game against A&M, so it's kind of unique that we're talking about these two teams this week, because heading into those matchups, ultimately, if Clemson's 5-0, if South Carolina's 4-0 going into that A&M game, all bets are off. And by the time they get there in that A&M game, much like we talked about with Wake Forest and Notre Dame, Texas A&M opens the season against Josh Rosen and UCLA. I don't know if you knew that or not. The Hot Seat Bowl, I think, is what they're calling that thing. But Texas A&M and UCLA, Jim Mora versus Kevin Sumlin in the Hot Seat Bowl. Then A&M plays Nicholls State, Louisiana Lafayette, and Arkansas. There's a possibility that if A&M wins the opener, they're 4-0 coming into that game against South Carolina. It could be a matchup on September 30th of undefeated teams out in College Station. Gamecocks with a lot more work to get there. They got to survive an NC State team with a great defensive front. They've got to find a way to defeat a Missouri team on the road that I think is better than advertised. Kentucky, you can't sleep on them. Louisiana Tech got votes in the coaches' poll. There's also a chance that it could be a winless South Carolina team heading into that game too. Lowell, I see you making a face over there, kind of cringing in concern for our fine-feathered friends peeking over the fence, but it's conceivable that could be a matchup of undefeated teams as well out in College Station on September the 30th. But as we sit here today having those two guests on, again, Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com, coming up here on the program, we'll get his thoughts on not just this 2017 Texas A&M team, but also Kevin Sumlin. And my theory on Sumlin is this. I think Sumlin got out of the gates too early. I think Kevin Sumlin was too successful too early on in the SEC. And because of that fact, I think he almost built a platform or a pedestal for himself in their first year in the conference in 2012, going 11-2 and 6-2, winning the Cotton Bowl. Everybody thought, oh, we got this, man. SEC, SEC. We're from the Big 12. We're going to do this thing. And they went 11-2, 6-2. You remember the rhetoric. I remember the rhetoric coming out. That was the moment where a lot of people said, well, man, maybe the SEC's not as tough as they've been claiming over there in the West. And then it didn't take long for Missouri. The following 2 years, Missouri played for the SEC championship in the East. Everybody's like, whoa. Well, SEC, you've been pounding that chest, but here comes A&M and Missouri, and they're taking care of business. But since going 11-2 and 6-2 in his first year, again, Sumlin, the former head coach at Houston, since pulling off that feat, 9-4 finished fourth, 4-4 in the conference, 8-5 finished sixth, 3-5 in the conference, 8-5, 4-4 fifth, 8-5, 4-4 fourth. Losing to Texas last season in their bowl matchup, losing in the Texas Bowl last season in their final matchup. Would you say he's a victim of early success? We've seen this for coaches before. Heading into 2012, first year in the SEC West, first year in the SEC, and you go 11-2, 6-2, finish second in the West. The belief is, well, with more years, you're going to continue to do well. That hasn't been the case for Kevin Sumlin. Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com, coming up here on the program, will give us his thoughts. You want to weigh in, 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Lowell, is Kevin Sumlin a victim of his own success at Texas A&M? Or, dare I say, early success at Texas A&M?
I think when you have a program-changing guy that comes through, like they did with a Johnny Manziel.
Now, he was there when Sumlin arrived, by the way.
He was. Sumlin, I think his system elevated Manziel's talents.
Okay.
And it elevated Texas A&M to an exciting time. So once you go through that stretch, this is sort of what you worry about if you're a Clemson fan right now. Is there's nowhere to go but down after winning a national championship. And so how are the fans going to react if you string together a couple 8-9 win seasons in a row?
Oh, that won't go over well.
How are you going to react? Now, Kevin Sumlin never reached that level, but it's the same idea of you went through this great, exciting stretch as a football program, and then you've just been mediocre a couple years in a row. And fans are starting to get annoyed and thinking it's time for a change. So it's not necessarily when the success happened, it's that the success happened at all. He could have, the success 3 years in a row from now, and then if he puts together 2 or 3 more mediocre years, people are going to start calling for his head again. It just is what it is. When you've had success before, people expect you to stay at that level. And when you don't, people want you gone.
Kevin Sumlin, I think, has a very positive demeanor. I think he's got a great relationship with his players. I think he's at a program right now that has distinguished itself just a little bit by leaving the Big 12 and has made itself into a program that, because it's now a functioning member of the SEC and reaping the benefits of the SEC's financial situation, but it has also now differentiated itself from the rest of the teams in the state of Texas by being in a different league, where the majority of those teams, Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas, and so on are in the same conference, they have a different vibe to sell to kids in that state. Someone, though, on one of the hottest seats in college football, Chad Morris, currently at SMU, a former Texas A&M graduate, may ultimately be somebody that is on the radar of Aggie Nation as we kind of move forward. I will say this as well here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight, kind of staying with the theme of wild coaches or wild quarterbacks, I should say. You talked about Johnny Manziel a few minutes ago. He's a guy who's never gotten out of the college sports corner because he's refused to grow up. We talked about the Auburn Tigers here on the program the other day. And one of the questions I asked was about their former quarterback, John Franklin III, who was the star, well, one of the stars on Last Chance U. He was a former Florida State quarterback who transferred to Texas A&M. Transferred to Auburn. Thought he might get a chance to play quarterback, did not, then switch positions to wide receiver. John Franklin III, today it was announced, has since transferred from Auburn. He's going to Florida Atlantic. Of course, the tie there between Florida Atlantic and Auburn is not Lane Kiffin to the state of Alabama. It is Clint Trickett, who is on that staff there, who was the former quarterbacks coach. I believe it was the quarterbacks coach. I don't think it was the offensive coordinator at East Mississippi Community College. I believe they have 3 former East Mississippi Community College players on that roster. I also just got a text message that they have added ex-Oklahoma 4-star freshman quarterback Chris Robeson, who was dismissed from the Sooners on August 2nd for violating team rules. Shout out to my man Lane Kiffin, Mr. Second Chance himself. He's just wheeling and dealing. He'll take anybody. You got to think, though, if you're John Franklin III and you decided to go to Florida Atlantic, you're probably disappointed today seeing that a 4-star freshman's coming over as well from Oklahoma. Unless you're just planning on playing wideout.
Well, he was going to be playing wideout anyways. He'd already
switched, I know.
No. He already had DeAndre Johnson and the other transfer from Florida State, who was also on Last Chance U.
Yeah, who's on Last Chance U now, yeah.
Who is at FAU now.
Oh, so he's...
Lane Kiffin signed him.
I see what you're saying.
Lane Kiffin signed him a couple months ago. Franklin wasn't going to be the starting quarterback there anyways. Now he's definitely not going to be.
Is he going to be the wideout?
I would think so. He's already made the switch. He probably plays wideout. Lane Kiffin's piling up some talent over there at FAU.
Second Chance U. I mean, Lane Kiffin's Second Chance U Part 2, I guess. I don't know, man. That's so weird that all these guys are going over there, right?
They signed someone else.
They got 3 guys from there. They've got 3 guys from Last Chance U on Florida Atlantic. Clint Trickett is a coach there.
I forgot Clint Trickett went there, yeah.
Yeah. Trickett was at East Mississippi Community College.
Lane Kiffin must have a really good relationship with East Mississippi.
Transferring is a tough process. You know, I don't know, man. Since he's graduated, he'll be eligible to play immediately. Just had a couple of catches the other day. I don't know what's going on. I know who does know what's going on with Texas A&M, though, it's Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com. He joins us here on Clemson Sports Talk right after this.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to win your trip.
Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
Oh, yeah, Clemson Sports Talk, Lowell the intern. Man, a little 50 Cent. I like that. You know what I like? You know what I like even better a day closer to college football season? I like the fact that we're going to be talking about the Texas A&M Aggies tonight with Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com. Billy, what's going on, man?
Not much. Actually, sitting outside of A&M's practice right now. They're running about 35 minutes late, so it's worked out perfect.
I heard
thought
that.
I'd be done by now. I thought they'd have run us media types off by now, but we haven't even started yet. So.
I hear you, and I know the feeling, man. When you sit here today, though, and look at this Texas A&M ball club, we just had a great debate for about 15 minutes prior to you coming on the air about Kevin Sumlin, and is he right now suffering from, I guess, being a product of his early success and the early success that Texas A&M had in the SEC? It's a tough conference. It's a tougher division. But in terms of, where maybe this fan base is with Coach, is it based on what he did early on that's really led to kind of this hot seat mentality that the Aggie fans have?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a great way to put it. I mean, you're sitting here, and so much of it started in that first year. You had Johnny Manziel, you had Cliff Kingsbury, and what he brought to the table. No one ever talks about that. He had arguably the best college quarterback to play for as a freshman and sophomore, at least anyway. We hadn't seen a freshman and sophomore as good as him. And he also had probably the best offensive coordinator at the time in the game in college football. So that dynamic, and it hadn't been seen in the SEC to that degree of that up tempo, no huddle, hurry up, and they really took the league by storm. And it was lightning in a bottle that year. People forget, everyone's complaining about too many 8-4 records. That actually started with, Manziel and Mike Evans, and I think that year they had 3 first-round picks on the O-line. So it was really a 1 year of magic when they jumped into the league. if you would have said that 5 years in, A&M would be very competitive, they would be, at worst, middle of the pack. I mean, if you look at their records in some certain areas, they're actually better than middle of the pack in this league since they joined. You look at their head-to-heads, you look at their finishes. I think they're one of 4 teams in the last 5 years that hasn't had a losing season. And a lot of power programs in the conference have had 2.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you said. They came out of the chute, and they reset this level of expectation that even A&M fans had. It ratcheted it up. The other thing too, though, I think that's unfortunate for someone and probably any coach that comes to A&M until they do reach this point. A&M was always kind of measuring themselves against Texas, and I just think when they joined the SEC, there was such a heightened level of sense of urgency, almost this fear of failure, that it ratcheted up expectations and kind of that sense of urgency so much because they're so scared. And I get it, and I think they should be because it happens. You're so scared of falling back in this league and getting trampled on. That wasn't something that really existed when they were in the Big 12. It was kind of just measuring up against Texas, and A&M was never going to fall back and be a non-factor in the Big 12. That happens to some good programs in the SEC. And that Texas factor, I believe, is still weighing in because the last thing you want to do is come into this league and not be competitive and not get it right while your counterparts that you left behind are. So I do think the start reset expectation and kind of sped it up because most people said it'd take about 5 years for A&M to assimilate. And I think from that standpoint, they've done actually a better job than most people expected.
Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com here on Clemson Sports Talk, the show that shakes the Southland. And we take a look at the schedule over the past few years. And I know John Chavis, he's a product of the state of South Carolina from over in Dillon. I look at his recent work there, and there is marked improvement. What's incredible to me, the SEC not often championed as a league of high-scoring football teams, but every time I turn on the Texas A&M game, it seems like I'm watching an old WAC football game back in the day.
Yeah, well, I think that starts with A&M. It's two-sided. The Aggies they've played good offensive football. They haven't had consistency at the quarterback position the last few years, and that's what's killed them.
Yeah.
But they have somehow managed to play good offensive football. And even last year, you look at it, and they moved the ball as well as most teams did against Alabama. They I don't know how many they scored against LSU, but it was in the 30s, and not many teams do that. And in Kansas State, they lost a bowl game. That was this is like not the biggest compliment, but that was by far the best defensive team in the Big 12, and A&M scored around 30 on them. It was a good offensive football team last year with a new coordinator, a grad transfer quarterback. The problem is they've been a bad defensive team, and even under Chief, it starts for A&M, which they cannot stop the run. And when you do that, you're going to end up in these track meet type games that you can't do that and be consistent. You look at that Tennessee game last year, some of their games with Arkansas, where Arkansas is just like up and down the field and A&M's throwing and Arkansas is running. It's fun to watch, but I'm sitting here outside of a stadium that everyone say it's the house that Johnny built, but Texas A&M football and the reputation they've had over time has been built on, tremendous hit you in the mouth, wrecking crew defense, and that's been, with a couple of rare exceptions, that's not been present here in Aggieland in quite some time.
It's hard to believe, too, considering last year with Myles Garrett there, at the defensive end spot, that the defense wasn't more successful. He had a phenomenal year, and I don't have any doubt that he'll do well in the NFL, but that has to be frustrating for people to know you've got kind of those horses out there, but you just hadn't seen that success. We're talking with Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com here on Clemson Sports Talk. Billy, talk to us about the freshman quarterback, Nick Starkel, that I think everybody believes is going to be the guy game one. Just give me kind of your take on him. I know you're high on the recruiting trail and you know this guy well. What do you expect to see from the redshirt freshman?
Well, I'll say this. I think Kellen Mond is giving him a run at the position, and
wow.
I think the safe bet would be to say that the redshirt freshman Nick Starkel will be the guy, but I wouldn't say. I would say with about a week probably until Kevin Sumlin picks a guy. There's a couple of very important scrimmages yet to be had, and Mond is a guy that he's a 5-star from IMG. He was here at the midterm, and he's a lot better today than he was in the spring. And he's a dual threat, which is what really helped him out last year in Noel Mazzoni's offense, was having that dual threat. Starkel is the best thrower on the roster. He's the best passer. He's not a running guy at all. So it's interesting because they're two such totally different quarterbacks, but the one thing they have in common is complete and total inexperience. Neither one of them's taken a college snap. So I think that battle's far from over. And to just give you the easy answer to it, I think you can expect both of them to play at the Rose Bowl on September 3rd against UCLA.
Well, Billy, good luck to you guys and the Texas A&M Aggies taking on UCLA. You just mentioned it on the road. So unique there to open up the season. Some people are calling that the hot seat game, man. I know my eyeballs will be on it.
Yeah, there should be. I think before the season's done, there'll be a lot of hot seat games A&M plays in because, it's been well documented, that Kevin Sumlin needs to win at a high level, or at least show that the program's, trending in that direction, namely in November as the season draws to a close. But, Jim Mora, absolutely. I think my prediction is that everybody's focused on Butch Jones and Kevin Sumlin this year. Don't be surprised if we see somebody else surprisingly run out of town I don't know where it's going to be. What happens if Auburn goes 7-5 this year? What happens if Arkansas, finishes 6-6 or with a losing record? I'd keep an eye on. This league is so weird. I've come to learn that you never know, and A&M's got to look out for it too. But you never know when you're going to get hit with 5-7 or 4-8.
You're right. Hey, Billy. There's no doubt about that, man. I appreciate your time again. Follow Billy on Twitter at Billy Lucci. Follow TexAgs on Twitter at TexAgs. We'll be right back.
iHeartRadio wants nothing more than to bring you closer to your favorite artists.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
So we've updated the iHeartRadio app. No, it's an upgrade. All your favorite music and stations, easier to find. Getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
This is Taylor Momsen from The Pretty Reckless, and this is iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download and open the new iHeartRadio app today. Listen to what our customers say about their pit stop.
I see they have a Blimpie's sub shop in there, and they're always fresh. And they got 12-inch select subs at $6. It's a great price. I think my best talent is eating. Don't stop till you're at pit stop.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
From Two Men and a Truck, movers who care. Tonight will be very warm. The temperatures will dip down only to the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, sunny, hot, and sticky with some scattered late storms. Highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by FTC Wireless. Is your streaming screaming? Increase the speed of your internet and improve the streaming of music, videos, and your favorite apps. Learn more and use their speed calculator to find out the speed you need at ftcinet.com.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show now at 978-1832 or text 803-450-0086.
Kane is in the building.
Oh, yeah. The Ballers are back. Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan, Lowell, the intern, formerly known as, hanging out with us here. Zach Lentz, at Zach Lentz, CST, on the coverage for you. ClemsonSportsTalk.com, new website launching soon. By the way, we've got all the video, audio, all that good stuff for you over on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that now. We've just jumped up in the statistics over there on YouTube. It's incredible. But all of that also on Twitter at Clemson Sports, and on and on Facebook at Clemson Sports Talk. But Lowell the intern, Dabo Swinney today, post-practice. We'll run a little audio for the folks at home here on the show that shakes the Southland.
How was the first day on the Meadows?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was hot, just the way we wanted it, and a little miserable. So it was great from that standpoint. But I thought this was one of those days where the offense gave in. The defense had to, really, I thought, pushed them around a little bit, and I didn't see the mental toughness that I need to see offensively. Really just, enough of it. Spurts here and there, but nowhere near the consistent mental toughness. Thought they gave into it a little bit today, but it was a pretty good finish. We did some competitive two-minute situations, a couple of different situations, touchdown to win it, field goal to win it, and I did think we finished better, but it just took a while for the offense to really get their mind where it needed to be. Now, the flip side of it, I thought the defense competed and pushed through all day.
Do you kind of expect a day like this from the offense with it being hot and you're halfway through camp?
No, I don't expect a day like this. I expect you guys to come out and compete to the standard we talk about. That's what we expect. And sometimes if you have maybe a day it's not going so well, I expect somebody to pick it up. And I didn't see either one of them today.
When you've got, for so long you had the same leadership on the offense, that on a situation like that, you knew who was going to step up and say something. Was it kind of important to see days like this to find out who it is that's going to do that, or who's going to learn that lesson that it needs to happen in the future?
Well, I don't know that it's important to have days like this. I'd much rather not, but I saw a few guys that took it to heart, and we'll see how they respond. And we've got a quick turnaround in the morning, and we're gonna run a lot of plays tomorrow. It's gonna be a big situational scrimmage. We're gonna make sure we get enough work on. Sometimes when you go scrimmage, you don't always get enough first down or enough second and long or enough short yardage or whatever, enough red zone inside the 10. So we're gonna really hit enough all the situational work tomorrow that we need, and it's going to be a lot of plays. And we're going to stress them pretty good in the morning. Again, a quick turnaround. So I'm anxious to see how they show back up and compete tomorrow.
All right, there you go. There's some of Dabo Swinney today post-practice. Again, if you want to hear the interview in its entirety, you can head over to YouTube, or you can check us out on Facebook. Again, at Clemson Sports, at Clemson Sports Talk on Facebook. Lowell the intern, I don't know if this is strategic on the part of the coaching staff and Dabo Swinney and our good buddy Tim Beret. They placed Dabo Swinney, they seem to place him right by the jugs machine. And for those of you that don't know what the jugs machine is, that is the apparatus that will pass the football to a wide receiver so they can just stand there and try to catch footballs. You know, when you see these crazy videos of a guy like Nuke Hopkins or Sammy Watkins making these one-handed snags off of football being launched at them at a high rate of speed. That's the jugs machine. That's what you hear in the background that sounds like somebody routinely hitting a piece of metal. I know you've been up there gathering audio, and it's been much of the same even in the indoor practice facility. My wife the other day, I was listening to some audio post-practice. I don't recall this from years past, hearing this stuff, but I know there's been noises, but definitely not the jugs machine the way they have been there this year. My wife's trying to work. The jugs machines are going off fairly routinely during those interview sessions, and my wife is going, would you please just turn that off? I cannot concentrate on anything. By the way, Lowell the intern, I know you're going to be making your way up to Tiger Town, 2 times? You're going to be up there tomorrow and the day after that to catch up with Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney noting there are a lot of new members of the media that were up there today. Lowell, this is let me just show you here if you're watching this for Lowell's sake over on the YouTube channel. This is the prime placement. I need you to bulldog your way in there. I need you to fight and get up close and be aggressive with this. We're the show that shakes the Southland. We're not some Rudy Poo operation out of Okemo, okay? So, yeah, Joe Schmo from Okemo, that's Dabo Swinney's friend. Jimmy Greenbean's his twin brother. I want you up front and center, young man. I want you to work your way through excuse me. You saw the way President Trump bumped that other president out of the way that time at that press conference a few weeks ago? That's the kind of effort I need from you. You go up to the guys from the other websites and you throw yourself forward. Are you with me? Are you down with that? With all of the kindest intentions, of course, Lowell.
How aggressive are we talking here? Because if you want me to be aggressive, I'm a big dude. I can get aggressive on some of these guys up there in Tiger Town.
Did you ever see the movie Willow?
No.
Out of the way, Peck. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you, David Hood, out of the way, David.
I don't know. David's a big guy,
He
too.
is a big guy. Okay,
David's a big guy. Maybe not David.
Maybe
he got someone a little smaller.
Find the smallest guy and move him out of the way. All right, so anyway, Zach Lentz on the coverage, at Zach Lentz CST. Again, all the audio, Clemson Sports Talk, at Clemson Sports on Twitter. O-line on the line. We got about a minute and a half, O-line. Talk to me.
I'll make it fast. I thought jugs machines was something that you found in a dairy barn, man. Hey, you talking about the wild quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Carolina falls into that with Tannehill and Garcia. I think we could probably squeeze in that category as good as any of them. And then if with Virginia Tech, Louisville, and Auburn in the 3 out of 5, if y'all come out of the first 5 games 5-0, y'all lose to Wake Forest. And if we come out.
Yeah.
If we come out of the first 5 games 5-0, we'll lose to Texas A&M. I guarantee you.
Well, you might be on to something. A little bit of the old overconfidence, I guess. Maybe catch up with the Tigers. That's the way they used to do it under Tommy Bowden. Unfortunately, I hate bringing it up because Tommy's a good friend of the program, but that was the roller coaster ride of Tommy Bowden, wasn't it? Get out to that 8-0 start. You feeling good about yourself? Here comes Wake Forest limping in with a backup quarterback. A one-legged running back, and they beat you by 13-7. You're like, how is this even possible? How can we be so good against good people and so bad against Duke? If David Cutcliffe had Duke where they've been recently during Tommy Bowden's years at Clemson, Bowden would have never lost to him.
Let's beat Miami and then come back the next week and lose to the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, nobody will ever expect that. We'll keep the people on their toes.
Oh, it was entertaining.
It was something. We're back. Final segment right after this.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to win your trip.
The iHeart Radio Music Festival.
Taco Bell's new $1 beefy potato Rito is the perfect comfort food. Crispy potatoes stacked with seasoned beef and melty cheddar cheese. It's all the comfort you need for just $1. Only at Taco Bell.
Do you need lodging for your next Tigers game? To get a real game day experience, skip the hotel and stay close to campus in one of Rent Like a Champion's comfortable vacation homes. You can call Rent Like a Champion, a Mark Cuban company featured on ABC Shark Tank, at 855-BIG-GAME to set up your weekend lodging today.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
At OPEX Columbia, we aim to inspire, empower, and challenge individuals to reach their highest potential. We take this mission very seriously and sincerely desire to help people achieve the goals they set out for themselves. OPEX Columbia is where you will excel no matter what your goal, whether that be health and wellness, body composition, or being a competitive athlete. We are conveniently located downtown across from the South Carolina Baseball Stadium. Contact us at opexcolumbia.com and mention this ad to receive 10% off your 3-part assessment.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
There is a bug in the building, and it is frustrating. It's one of these. It's like one of these incredibly fast gnats.
Tiny. And it keeps flying in my face.
It just buzzes me. My cats have paws, and they can grab a fly out of the air. I have a hand.
Without fingers.
Without fingers. It's between two hands. Yeah. Whoo! And then they bring it to the ground, and then they're not smart enough to not look under there to see if they got it. When they do, it flies out. I wish my cats were here right now.
Why? Apparently they just do catch and release. That would just be kind of more annoying.
Well, eventually, there it is. Eventually, they...
At some point, it's going to fly into my mouth. I know that's coming.
Oh, there he is. Oh. But the other day, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a fly seems to, God gracious, this thing. A fly seems to get into a like a flight pattern almost. Have you noticed that? In your room, it'll go from like one area to the other. It just kind of loops around. And it was almost like perfectly timed. So I tried my best Karate Kid, and I would just do this randomly, move my hand forward because I couldn't really see it coming. I almost caught it twice. Like I kind of had the timing in sync with it. But this little thing, I don't think it's a gnat. I think it's, I think you brought it in here when you brought those chicken wings in here earlier, eating that food. I'm blaming you.
Flies got to eat too.
By the way, we were not able to hook up with Mr. Rutherford tonight. He was supposed to come on with us as well. He did text us during the program that he could come on, but we couldn't have him on by that point because we had Billy Lucci lined up. We'll see if we can't roll Nate the Great Mr. Rutherford over.
Second greatest Twitter name out there.
Behind.
Oh, you know who.
Lowell CST.
At Castricone.
That is a nice one.
Yeah.
That is a nice one. You know, Dabo Swinney, again, coming off the field tonight, still frustrated with that Clemson Tiger offense and not being willing to give them any leniency in terms of expectations given the defense that they're going up against. I think we all know it's going to be difficult for these guys, and we've kind of talked about that. We expect the defense to dominate these scrimmages, these practices, etc. But Swinney has a high mark for these guys. Swinney has a high mark for this Clemson Tiger offense. He doesn't care that they lost Watson, Gallman, fly back, messing with me. Yeah, if you really want something enjoyable, watch the YouTube feed of this show because this thing is annoying. But Dabo Swinney doesn't seem to care, Lowell.
Well, and here's what it does. I was actually talking to my dad about this last night. When, you kind of want the defense to beat up on the offense. You don't want to completely kill the confidence of the offense, but if you go full speed, defense against offense, and you have the defense beating up on the offense, because you're not going to go up against a much better defense all year than what you're going up against in practice, once you get into a game, it's like going from, on NCAA, you're playing the Heisman level.
Right.
And then you bump it down to, like, All-American or
all of a sudden it's easy.
Freshman. It's like, oh, whoa, it's a lot slower. Things are a lot easier.
There's not as much pressure.
You're getting way more time back here in the pocket. I haven't been used to this all summer or all fall, and now it's like, all right, we're good. We got this. So there's an advantage going up against a defense like this all fall.
Well, and I think you're right. The other question becomes, how much do you allow? How much time do you allow for the adjustment period to occur? Because you probably don't need that so much against Kent State, but you might need it long term once you get into the meat of the schedule in September. That's where it'll be effective, most likely, because in between the last practice and the Kent State game, it's really going to shift. But how big is that drop off between Auburn and Clemson's defense? Clemson Tiger soccer right now, men's soccer team out on the pitch. Coastal Carolina scored on a corner kick with 12 minutes to play. Clemson leading that one 2-1. Clemson basketball also now moves to 3-0. 3-0 on their European vacation.
Yeah, the transfer David Scarra with the tip in for the win.
And your boy Dante Grantham with a block to seal the victory for the Clemson Tigers.
Eli Thomas, 16 points, 15 rebounds. Very impressive.
So Clemson now kind of finding some different guys. Again, the opener, it was Grantham. Yesterday, it was Gabe DeVoe. And then now, you said 16 and 15, was it from Eli? Or 15 and 16?
16 and 15.
16 and 15 from Eli Thomas. Giving you some good work for the Clemson Tigers there. Balanced, 3-0. Again, you're playing overseas, so.
Marquise Reed had 15 points in just 21 minutes.
Reed has struggled, so that was good for him. And again, it's preseason. It's European travel hoops for Clemson. But it's a good bonding opportunity for these guys. And not to mention, with how much Brad Brownell really likes to bring in transfers and stuff. This thing is so frustrating over here, Lowell. As much as he brings in transfers and stuff, this is a good opportunity for these guys to play in real game action and kind of get accustomed to each other and begin to build some cohesiveness on the court that can be severely lacking if you haven't had a chance to play with one another significant minutes. So this is a good chance for these guys to really start feeling themselves out and to also not have to be overly concerned with going heads up against themselves. Now you kind of get your full roster out there and get a rotation and maybe get a little bit more comfortable with the scenario that you've got moving forward on the hardwood for the Clemson Tigers. Again, thanks to our guest, Stan Cotton, voice of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com for joining us as we close out and round out another program here of the show that shakes the Southland. Lowell the Intern, big day tomorrow. You'll be heading up to Tigertown to gather audio for us. All that audio will be up on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, at Clemson Sports on Twitter, and on our Facebook page as well. Excited to make another trip up to the big city, have a little powwow with Dabo Swinney and some players after practice.
It's always nice to be able to get up to Clemson. I enjoy my time there.
There he is. He is the artist formerly known as Lowell the Intern, and he'll have it all covered for you. Again, over on Twitter, he is at Lowell CST, but that audio and video coming through YouTube will come out on our at Clemson Sports Twitter feed. Incredibly, another day in the books, folks. I don't know how we do it, but we do it. We wind it down. We head towards Hump Day here on the show that shakes the Southland. For Lowell, I'm Lawton Swan. As always, y'all take care now, and go Tigers!
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? Cut to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of U.S.